Everybody, here with Carmen, and we're ready to talk about essential oils and all things oily awesomeness. Carmen and I are working together under doTerra, and I've been doing this for about 2 years. It's been a huge blessing for me, helping hundreds of people just kind of get on a different trajectory to wellness and do it with a company that's just truly incredible. So we're going to hear Carmen's story. Why essential oils? Why doTerra? What do you use them for? All the good stuff.
Okay, so I'm not new to oils. I've always loved them. I was lucky enough to be raised by a mother who, we grew our own, made our own yogurt. I remember some of my earliest memories of my life as a child where the yogurt warmer was near the windowsill, the bean sprouts were being grown. She did all of the fermenting of the bread. I remember looking underneath the little thing to see if it was risen enough and the bubbles would be moved because it was it was probiotics and before probiotics were around, right? And his name was Herman. Like I have all these memories of a holistic lifestyle. I remember the lavender she used to use. She used to rub my feet. I remember that smell. And then I remember, and this isn't really an essential oil, but vitamin E and garlic capsules. We all know about those, that they come in the capsules and you can poke a hole in them and the oil comes out. Well, she used to put that in my ears. So if I got an infection, she would put garlic oil or essential oil in there to kill the virus and lower the inflammation. So the word oil really expands even beyond what most people think for me. So it was a natural, I will say it's a natural thing to always have in my home, diffusing. I just rubbed it on, a few minutes ago. I've got my piece that I keep up here at my desk. I've sprayed my air with my lavender, doTerra oil. And for me, it's almost like I don't even think about it. I will literally reach over during a webinar when I'm interviewing an expert and I'll be rolling my arms like this just to, keep my brain in the game. So there's never been a question about whether they're effective or whether I like them or not or anything like that. They've been part of my life forever. But why doTerra? So as you know, because you know me well, I'm super picky about where I will collaborate, where I put my energy, who I will support. And I have been approached a lot. Young Living, doTerra, we've got a local oil person here that's been after me in my community. And I've just always felt kind of like icky. I don't like to be pursued about something. If I believe in it and I believe in you, I'm going to be involved and I'm going to promote. And no one's ever approached me the way that you did. Like you just simply said, if you're ever ready to get involved, I'm here. And then I've been stalking you a little. I've been watching you. You know that. I watch all the coaches I know who are up and coming that that I'm close with. And your approach is very organic. It's authentic. It's genuine. I mean, we're sitting here in hats today. We're not all fancied up. And so, exactly. And so when the time finally came that I knew I had so many people asking me, like, what oils do you use? What oils do you use? I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need one place to send everyone so I don't have to keep reinventing the emails and the wheels, right? Yeah. And so it was just when you and I got together, I was like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's go, So that's kind of why it was really your approach, which I think I don't see a lot of pushiness in doTerra. Not even beyond you. I don't see the same attitude behind the product that I see behind a lot of other products. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally.
And I don't want to be aligned with the kind of company that feels like they have to shove their people out the door and convince people to use something. doTerra's products, I think, speak their efficacy. It speaks for itself. You don't have to convince someone to use it.
Exactly.
So that was another thing that really kind of made me go, okay, this is it. Is that I didn't feel pressured. I believe in the product. I've been using the product for several years because my pharmacy locally sells it. So I've been able to buy it without pressure and test it out. Yeah. And I just really wanted something I could funnel people to when they ask me for what I recommend. So that's the long story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you're saying. When I was looking at joining doTerra, I did the same sort of thing and just sort of watching and feeling it out and talking to people, different companies. And I felt that the culture of doTerra was a big fit for me for exactly the reasons you were saying. Like the culture of the company is very non-pushy, non-salesy, like even up to the leadership levels. It's all about loving on people and being of true service and not about selling somebody something and then never talking to them again. Like they really encourage us very strongly and reward us financially for following up with people. Like after they get their oils, here's tools and handouts to make sure they know how to use them and that they're comfortable with them, and how to share safety information. Like, that's all available. And it's part of the culture to make sure that people feel very empowered and inspired by their oils. And it's not about buy, buy, buy. It's just truly being of service and how can we make your life better? And it goes all through the company.
Yeah. And where do you need it? Where do you want to use it? Like, I remember with you when I got my box and I said, oh my gosh, I'm already on the ledge, because I'm the person, when I get something, like I told you, I think I told you I got Beauty Counter and I opened the box and there was like 17 products in it. And I just shut the box
Right.
and I put it to the side because I was like, oh my gosh, I was overwhelmed. Right.
Yeah.
Of course, I have a great person in Beauty Counter too. So I reached out to her and I'm like, what do I do now? Right.
Right.
And that's the way I felt when I got the box with doTerra, not because doTerra overwhelms, because I'm a very busy person with a lot of hats and a lot of things going on. And for me to maintain some sense of sustainability in the life that I live now, I need support so that I don't go off the ledge and not follow through. And so I reached out to you immediately, I think, and I said, what do I do with this? And you were like, okay, this is this, and you've got a carrier oil and you've got this. So while I've used oils all my life, it's different to create recipes with them, combine them. You've got all different ways of using them now. It's not just topical and diffusing. You can actually ingest some of them in ways that are responsible, that can complement your lifestyle. So that was huge for me to be able to go, I don't know what to do with this. Tell me what to do. And you're like, it's okay. This is this. And then you said, then I said something along the lines of, can you just like send me a super easy thing to look at? And you're like, yeah. And like, you shot me, something that was really simple to make a roller for my kitchen. So, cause I have rollers in every room. So I wanted one in the kitchen when I need energy. And I think it was like orange with a touch of lavender or something like that. And so that's a big part of it for me too, is the support. That's really big, really big.
Yeah. And that's where I'm really passionate. When I first tried oils out years ago, I didn't have any support. They just sort of sat in my drawer because they're a little overwhelming. Like, this is brand new. I've never used this before. I don't know what to do. And then when I started working for Dr. Axe, he's all about the oils. So I thought I better pull these out of the drawer and start learning how to use them. But that can be time consuming. So my passion now is to make sure that nobody else has to do that. Like, I'm here to teach you what you need to learn, and how to use them, and develop a little cheat sheet for you, and take away all of that overwhelm. This is going to be hard. This is going to be a big thing. With just a little coaching, it's actually quite straightforward.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your mindset feels like it's going to be hard and a lot of work. And then it's like, oh, that was crazy easy.
Yeah.
And I love, people will sometimes like text me or email me and say, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm like, please bother me. Like, I love this. I am all of this. So people can, and basically at this point, we offer an array of options. So if somebody likes to learn by taking an online class, we've got that. If you want to just talk to somebody, you can call me. Sometimes people say, can you just send me a video? My husband and I will watch it together. Done.
Yeah.
There's good books. There's good apps. Like, however people like to learn, I have a good way for you to learn it, to make it feel really manageable and inspiring. And then you get to play with them and experiment with them and see what works for you. And the testimonials that come in are ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're totally insane. So I absolutely love coach people. And that's what doTerra is all about. Like, that's just very much like, educate yourself, like take charge of your own health. Everything we talk about in your school and in your groups, you are in charge of your health, and you have a right to know what all of your options are, including oils. It's one piece of the puzzle, but they can really be helpful, and they're just so darn easy.
Yeah. And they're just complementary. And I know that your approach, which, I'm all about, I do things backwards all in my business from most people. And we know that. I don't believe in a complete elimination diet unless it's an emergency. I don't believe that we should be taking things away from people that, are going to stress them out. And so for years, I've been coaching almost 8 years, be 8 years this coming May or June. I can't remember when I first started, but, in all of those years, I will say that the focus has always been on food movement for so many people. I've been watching coaches coming into this industry, and I'm like, there's so much more to it than food and movement. And so for years, for me too, I would say it starts with the gut. It's all about the gut. It's what you put in your mouth. It's 80%. And I no longer feel that way. I believe that stress is the first place we should start. We should start with how we see stress in our lives, how our clients are viewing their lives and the stress in their lives. And I love that you say this is an easy thing for people to put into place. It's kind of like a baby step into the rest of the things that they need to be focusing on, because it's easy. I mean, how easy is it to take the lid off of this, rub it on your wrist, and take 10 deep breaths for an hour, or for a minute, for a full minute, just be present in yourself before you start to learn about what food you should probably take out, or, you know, how you're going to move your body for that day or whatever. You know, I just think that's a huge piece to relieve stress from people. That's going to be, you know, the focus going forward for the Institute is start with that.
And there's some things like I've had people lately use that peace oil on their kids, like toddlers who are losing it, and they'll roll the piece on and they go, no way, I cannot believe that just worked. And then they go, that was probably a fluke. I'll try it again tomorrow. It worked. Well, think about how much stress that relieves if you can find a tool to help your child calm down.
Yeah.
So I've had people with, you know, headache issues, and they're stressed out because they can't get their headache to go away. Well, the oils can give you some relief. And so that lowers your stress. It gives you a little inspiration to do the deeper, harder work that we all talk about, because oils are not going to solve everything.
Right. But neither is sleep.
Right.
Neither
It's got to
is moving your body.
Picture. Yeah, it's got to be the sleep and the stress management and the food and the movement and all of it.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding with my tribe is that there's people who would never talk to me about taking out gluten or other lifestyle changes because it's hard. It's a big thing. They just won't talk about it. They're like just not ready for it. Or I'm Italian. I'll never stop eating pasta, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we just meet them where they're at. They've used some oils. Oh my gosh, that worked. The light bulb goes off for natural solutions. And they say, okay, now you can talk to me about that food thing. What should I be eating again? And it leads into that. So for my side, that's been a really effective way to just shift people's mindsets and shift them into the wellness journey. I know other coaches start with the traditional health coaching and just use oils as complementary. So there's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to just have another tool at your disposal to get some client movement in the right direction, the oils can be a big tool for that.
Totally. And so, you know, one of the other things that I wanted to commit to was I didn't want to get involved with it and then it sit there. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get involved and then it sit there. And as we were talking about earlier, like a whole lot of things happened at one time. So the trajectory of the this whole process has been slowed a little bit for me. But I literally have on my I don't have it up here. I'm looking at my to-do list up here, but downstairs on my to-do list, I just have the words doTerra, Beauty Counter, the things that I know that I need to focus on so that they're never far out of my mind. Because once the momentum starts, it's on. You know what I mean? People are gonna start asking more questions. They want to get more involved. I also use oils on my dogs too.
Yeah.
I'll put it on my wrists, and then I'll when I rub them, of course, keeping it away from their eyes and stuff like that, in their mouths. But I will rub them where my hands kind of go by their nose, you know. And you've met my dogs, right? So we have one that she could drink a bottle of lavender and probably still not be calm. But it makes me feel like I'm doing something for her, even if I put a little drop or two on her leather collar, on the back of her collar, and then rub her. And I noticed that she does seem to do that eye roll back in her head thing a lot faster if I have the lavender with me. So, you know, it's not just for us or our people, it's for cleaning, it's for everything. So yeah. And I love the On Guard. The On Guard toothpaste has been my favorite. Like, I got it a couple of years ago. I think when it first came out, I don't even remember, but I loved it. I loved, you know, that it was like something that was totally different, that had those antibacterials in it. And now it's like a go-to staple for me. That and my tooth powder. Yeah.
And for anybody, if you have someone in your life who has breath issues that just can't get resolved, this will take care of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's been a marriage saver a couple of times, I think.
I think, and because of the mouth microbiome, of course, there's bacteria in our mouths. Isn't there more bacteria in our mouths than there is in our gut, or something like crazy like that? Mm-hmm. So when we have those problems, if they're not coming from the gut, there's something going on. And, you know, even just a drop of the On Guard with some coconut oil swishing or something could be helpful for that. But I like the toothpaste because it actually even tastes good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. My teeth kind of squeak after I use it, which is kind of crazy. Right?
Yeah.
So tell me something. I want you to tell me what your favorite thing to do with your kids are, because I use it when I give my kid a massage and things like that. But he had a sore throat and he had a headache the other day. I think it was allergies because we've had a shift in weather here, and he was very congested. But he stayed home for 2 days just because I wasn't going to wear him out. And I totally forgot about the idea of putting something on his feet and all of that. So what's your go-to for that kind of thing when congestion is happening?
A couple options. If you think it's allergy related, I would try peppermint, lavender, and lemon.
Okay.
That's a really awesome combination. There's also the Breathe blend, which is just sort of all things respiratory.
I think I have that. Mm-hmm.
So those would be probably the top two.
Okay.
And as you know, bioindividuality, everybody's a little bit different. So you might say like, oh, my neighbor, this worked for them. And then I tried it and, so. It does require just a little bit of playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you just have like a basic set of oils, you'll have enough to play with and find what's just right for you. But between the Breathe or the peppermint, lavender, lemon, I would say.
I think I have all of those actually. Yeah.
And then like the Breathe, like if somebody has respiratory issues with like phlegm and mucus that needs to get broken up, you can add a little lime to it and it helps break that all up.
Okay. And what do you put that in a carrier oil? So give me a recipe.
So like I would take a rollerball like this. I got these off Amazon.
Yep.
Blue or brown or clear. And I would do, you do it depending on the person's age. And I have a handy dilution chart. I believe in going low and slow. There's no need to waste oils. There's no need to overwhelm the body. So I believe in using the lowest amount possible. So I do about 15 drops in a rollerball like this. And that's safe for the kids. So you would do, maybe 5 each of peppermint, lavender, and lemon.
Okay.
And the rest is coconut oil or almond oil, whatever carrier you like.
Yep.
I like coconut because it's unscented and it's medium chain, so I like that. But and then you just shake it up and go. And if you ever want something to get boosted, you're like, this has just got to work. You can just add a drop or two of frankincense to anything.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
And that's it.
Yeah. Because don't you remember? Let me ask you this: do you remember growing up? And you're a little younger than I am, right? How old are you again?
40.
Yeah. Okay. A lot younger than I am. So, but do you remember Vicks?
Yeah.
Growing up, so one of my most vivid memories was, I grew up in Minnesota. So, I mean, it was cold almost, 9 months of the year. You're freezing and you're bundled and somebody's always sick. Something's always going around. There's no chance to recover when you're frozen, right?
Right.
But I remember my mom putting Vicks on my chest and putting one of those little kid T-shirts over the top of it and just feeling nurtured by that. You know what I mean? So when I had my own child, of course I wasn't using oils topically on him or anything like that. But I remember thinking to myself, smelling it and thinking, this is going to give him that same memory. But I love the idea that we don't have to use that toxic petroleum-based menthol smelling stuff anymore. We can create new memories for our kids that are more natural for them as they go through their life. And then when they're older, when they smell the lemon, the lavender, the peppermint, the things that we use, it's going to bring back those same types of memories as it did for me, which I think is pretty cool.
It's really cool. And also he'll learn, like when he has a problem, instead of running to the pharmacy or to a prescription, which have their place, but there's more options than that. And maybe not being so quick to jump to that is a pretty good idea. And just thinking like, what food could I have some bone broth? Could I have an herbal tea? Could I use some oils? Like there's just more options than we've been conditioned with, like people our age. And, our grandparents didn't grow up that way.
No, isn't it crazy?
Sort of shifting back.
Yeah, like it's almost like there's that, there's our grandparents. I'm going to be 47 in January, but there's our grandparents. Then in the middle there, things just got really insane from the 70s on. Like we must have lost our ever-loving vaccinating, franken-food minds to get in the position that we're in again today, where we are now the generation that's undoing all of those things that happened before.
Exactly.
But isn't it good that we can, and that we're educated to do that, and we want to do that for our kids? That's the shift. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So now when my kids are 9, 7, and 5, when they have an issue like my stomach hurts or my head hurts or they start coughing, whatever, they come over to my oil box and say, which one should I use?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's their first instinct is which one should I use? Yeah. And we talk about going to bed early and, all the stuff. We talk about all the stuff, but that's such a good place for them to start. And it has worked like crazy. And my husband is the biggest skeptic who ever lived with these oils. And he's always like, where's your witch hat? And this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's referenced in the Bible, but we'll just forget about that for a minute.
Yeah.
I'll just let you see.
Yep. Yeah.
It worked. He's like, fine, it works. And he's like, I started telling people at work about this. And I was like, what? You're doing what? And then
he's marketing for you.
Yeah, because it just keeps working. And, you know, with little kids or even bigger kids, I mean, if your kid is sick and you have something that can help them and like they're back to their sports, they're back to school, everyone's back to their lives, that changes everything.
It totally does. And I tell the story about Braden when he got strep. It's been about 3 years ago, I think, but you know, his throat hurt. He's like, I can't swallow. And I'm like, you have a tournament. You have a tournament in Memphis in 3 days, dude. Like, this cannot be happening. I know it was Missouri, I think it was. Anyway, it's a good long trip away. And I thought, oh no. So I took him to the doctor straight away. I think it was on a Wednesday. They diagnosed him with strep. He came back as a positive culture. They gave me the amoxicillin, you know, as a standard, shake this with this kind of thing, prescription. I picked it up. I brought it home. And my husband's like, just give it to him. I was like, let me try something else first. So I literally, I took a picture. I wish I could find it, but I had, you know, I used colloidal silver. I used the Buried Treasure immune stuff. I used the Lipospheric vitamin C because he's old enough. I used zinc. Like I pulled out everything. I made him gargle with the silver. I used the On Guard drops in the diffuser. Yeah. I loaded that child up. And do you know that literally Friday afternoon, no more sore throat. This all started on Wednesday night. Sore throat was gone. And I drove him to that tournament on Saturday morning.
That's amazing.
Strep throat, positive bacteria for strep, gone.
Yeah.
Not one antibiotic.
It's amazing.
It is. It is. And I think, you know, I mean, I have a skeptical husband too, but I also have that husband that's like, well, just get him on the soccer field. Here, take the Tylenol or take the Advil. I'm like, there's inflammation in his body for a reason. Let's figure out what it is and go there, you know? But I think that's a part of our educating process too. Like we have to share with them why we need to take a deep breath and step back and not rush to the quick answer.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we can share that information with our clients, that's really, really valuable. Mm-hmm. Instead of waiting 3 months, 6 months for them to see a difference. Like, yeah, that's important. But what if we can get them some quick wins right away? Then they're going to stick with us. We're truly valuable to them when something comes up in their house. We have some ideas for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we were just talking about the neurofeedback that I started doing the other day. And, you know, so she gets you in this chair and it's super, you know, it's super just chill. I mean, like you feel like you're going to sleep when you walk in. Of course, I fall asleep immediately, but they put a weighted blanket on you. One of those heavy blankets. Have you ever tried one of those?
Yeah.
Woo, I bought one. I had to after I had that. I was like, I need to get this for my kid. But she said, which essential oils would you like? And I had just used them. So I was like, I'm good because I just used them before I, you know, came in this room. But they're being incorporated everywhere you go. Massage therapy, neurofeedback, practitioners are using them, Reiki. I mean, This is not something that's like brand new and trending. They've been around forever. Like you said, I mean, reference the Bible. Hello, frankincense and myrrh.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Coming back to it.
I know.
There's a lot of work being on. DoTerra's partnering with Johns Hopkins and Duke and Vanderbilt. And, you know, the studies are coming out and, you know, the superbug issue is a really scary issue. And so DoTerra's working with the medical community to see how oils can be part of the solution for that. And, you know, nurses at Vanderbilt, the nurses have started diffusing it for themselves and kind of keeping track of results. And, you know, the full double-blind study, the full things are coming out hopefully in 2018. But DoTerra is also partnering with medical professionals to try to disrupt the broken healthcare system. You know, I talk about this a lot. I think it's really important, and coaches are going to play a huge role. Well, DoTerra's take on it is they're creating holistic facilities. They're building it right now in Salt Lake City, and then they're going to pop up like urgent cares around the country.
Yeah,
the model's totally different. Like instead of penalizing you financially for going to seek care, it's a membership model. So you pay, you know, say it's $100 a month. You can go into this clinic and see whatever holistic practitioner you need. They'll be fully educated about the oils. And so they don't sell the oils there, but they'll be educated about how to incorporate them into your care plan.
Yeah.
And so if you need acupuncture and an integrative doctor and the whole thing, it's sort of a one-stop shop for your care based on a membership model. So you're not penalized if you have to go in more.
Yeah.
And then the oils will be integrated and the medical professionals will get the education they need to really understand how oils can help provide the outcomes that we're all looking for.
Yeah. So
it's going to be really interesting. And I'm 100% convinced that every household is going to have oils, just like right now everybody has Tylenol or whatever from the pharmacy.
Yeah.
We're all going to have the oils. And so as a coach, to get educated about them now and to integrate them into your practice now, the timing could never be better.
Right.
The growth is just completely insane. DoTerra is over $1 billion. They're only 9 years old. the growth is just completely insane. And so it's not in any way saturated whatsoever. There's about 1% of Americans have doTERRA accounts, and it's over $1 billion company already. So the growth is there, the opportunity is there, the results for our clients are there. It's just, I think it's just really going to be huge. So.
Yeah. And, I belong to a membership model here in Clarksville. I signed up with the membership model about 2 months ago. It just wasn't practical for a holistic / conventional medical practice that is in our community to keep up the way they were doing things. I mean, they never rushed us. My doctor, he's amazing. He's a nurse practitioner, but I love him. And he's never rushes. He always seems to have just enough time, but I could actually kind of see that he was getting like a little bit, okay, because it was the only one. And then they said, we're moving to a membership model. We've got to get him the relief he needs so that you guys can get the care you need. And it works better. I get to go in whenever I want to. They fit me in, like, I had something happen in my ear a couple of weeks ago. My allergies kicked in, and even though I don't get the congestion and stuff, I get an ear pain. Like I can feel heaviness between my ears. And I called and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Thanksgiving. Tomorrow I don't have an ear infection. They're like, come on in. And that was like the benefit of that membership.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think, concierge medicine memberships, we have to remember that doctors need to make a living too. Think of all the money that they put into their practice and into their learning about this, right? But how are they making money when they're seeing people for 15 minutes and they're throwing them out the door? They're doing it by, a lot of them are doing it with big pharma. There's incentive there. So having that kind of practice I'm hoping is going to remove that incentive to do all of that big pharma, prescriptions and all of that, and really put the care back into the patient.
Yeah. And if you think about something else, like some people have memberships to go get monthly massages kind of a thing. You get that membership and then it's like, oh, you're taking care of yourself every month.
Yeah.
And so I'm very hopeful that when these start popping up and people pay for that membership, it's like, okay, I'm going to take care of myself because I'm paying for it. But if I get sick, I don't have to pay more.
Exactly.
Like this will just take care of whatever I need. And if it's like my monthly chiropractor adjustment, whatever it is, it's just taken care of. And it's a way for them to commit to themselves. It's a better financial model for the healthcare providers. And it's a win for everybody because our system is just so broken.
It is. Yeah, it is. I was on a podcast with Razzie Berry. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And, she's, Chris Kresser is one of the guests, Dan Kalish. It's a really, really nice lineup of people they interviewed. And we were talking about the health coaching model. And she was saying, where do you think health coaches fit into this industry? What does that look like to you? What kind of practitioner, what's the avatar look like to you that would hire a health coach? And I was like, the answer is, for me, in my opinion, it really depends. But it's the practitioner who wants their patient to be well. You have the practitioners, yes, they wish they could get them well, but they've got a bottom line. They've got a limit on their time. This is this. If a health coach comes in there, that's not going to really change unless they understand there's a triage of care that has to happen here because we want our patients / clients to be well. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm seeing so much more of that, like what in the community that I'm in, the Mindshare community, the oils are talked about all the time. I mean, they're talked about all the time. Someone will say, what do you do for this? Someone will chime in, don't forget to do this with oils, or don't forget this. So it's just going to blow up. It's not like it's going to go away.
Right.
Oh, okay. Now we don't want them. No.
Right.
I don't think so. This is not a trend. This is not something that's going to grow and then fizzle and die. This is something that is going to grow and grow and grow and just hopefully consume, the average American's home so that we can start living better, in my opinion.
And I have about maybe 400 people sort of in my tribe with oils that I've helped with oils. One time I had one lady say, I don't think these are working for me. And I said, oh, well, let's hop on the phone and talk through it. Like, let me see how I can help you. And then I said, well, how are your headaches? How are your kids? Have they been in school? Have they been homesick? And she was like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a headache at all this year. And oh my gosh, no, the kids haven't been sick. And she was like, oh my gosh, the oils worked so well that I forgot how it used to be.
Yes.
And I just didn't even see anymore what they were doing. So that's my only person who has ever, and 400 people said, I didn't think that they worked. Literally every other person has a testimonial.
Yeah.
So there's really, and the science is there. Like if anybody's likes to geek out on science, the data is all there. It's easy to find. There's more coming. Tisserand has a whole book, oils and safety and background and all this stuff. So that's all there. And, that's not up for debate anymore. It's just a matter of education. So a lot of coaches, like you said earlier, are focused on movement and food. Well, there are more pieces of the puzzle that you can integrate. And even stuff like, I know people who do Beauty Counter just say, it's something a little bit easier. Like for people who are doing all this hard work,
yes,
still have fun and play with some non-toxic makeup.
Yeah.
And
clean that part out.
Yeah. And I have a friend who started with Beauty Counter because she was having some thyroid concerns, and she started with detoxing her environment.
Mm-hmm.
So she started making some of her own cleaners, and she switched to Beauty Counter, and literally her labs got better. And she hadn't even started on her diet yet. Like she was going to do that too, but she just started with the easy stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's because the skin's our largest organ. So anything we put on it or that is absorbed through it is going to affect our endocrine system. I mean, I just did a Beauty Counter live on this a couple of weeks ago and just talked about that. Just the fact that you're putting things on that are increasing your estrogen load and they're slowing down your thyroid. I mean, that alone can make a difference for people. And that's one of the reasons why I got into Beauty Counter, because my makeup and lotions and all that stuff looks like I went to Whole Food. It looks like I went to Anna Marie. It looks like I went to, I have got every brand of non-toxic organic makeup on the market. I gave a bag, like a Ziploc bag, stuffed full to the homeless community. I have a friend who works in the homeless community. And there's women there that they don't have anything. And I felt guilty because I found like a little thing of Burt's Bees or something. And I know that Burt's Bees is not 100% non-toxic. I actually felt bad putting it in that bag because I was giving away all of that other organic stuff. I just wanted a clean looking, you know what I mean? And so anyway, I felt bad about it because I feel like every person deserves to have that, it's not possible right now. I believe that, I know, and probably not in my lifetime, but I believe every person deserves to have, non-toxic beauty products, non-toxic things to clean their home with, non-toxic food to eat. I mean, it's a dream, right? But this is a step in the dream too, and it's a doable step. It's not an impossible thing to think about. I mean, what is this? So this is really old. It's been sitting up in my office, but it's the Oracacia Chakra Balancing Oil. And I bought it when I was on vacation or something. I was stressed about some travel. And I remember smelling it and just going, oh, well, that just makes me feel better. Yeah. And it's not even like the top quality. It's a great brand, don't get me wrong, but it's not, it's not doTerra, but just smelling it, I was like, oh God, yeah. And I rolled it on the plane. I swear to you, I think I bathed in it that day. I remember there's not that much in here, but they're so powerful to smell and just to, surround yourself with. It just gets that parasympathetic nervous response like that.
And when you find the one that your body loves, like you just had that experience. My experience is with our Balance blend. My body just loves that blend. And when I found it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's how I am with this, the peace and the forgive. Because you and I both know I got lots of forgiving to do in my life right now. This has actually been a year of serious forgiveness for me, like literally like having a checklist of people to forgive, myself included. And I got the forgive roller because I wanted, not only did I want the reminder, but when I smell it, it gives me that kind of passive reminder in my mind that forgiveness is what it's all about, right? So just the not even just the words on the bottle, but the smell and the routine of putting it on, can really add to the goal of forgiveness that I've been working on all year long. So I think it's important to remember that too. It's not even just about putting some oils on and running out the door, diffusing them. It's about the routine. Back in the Bible, they washed his feet. Come on. I mean, what did they use? You know what I mean? I mean, it's routine. It's bringing yourself down to earth. It's reminding you that, we're supposed to be living naturally. For me, that's a really big part of using the oils and diffusing them and breathing them in and being, just centered with it, not to get too woo-woo, but I love a routine.
Well, it's kind of also like when you take a big the water that you're taking the supplements with is doing so much good in your body. And same with oils, like that big deep breath that you're taking when you open it up, and it's the oil doing awesome stuff, and it's that big deep breath doing something, just like the supplement and the water, and just so much good stuff happens. Yeah.
And I think, and honestly, as busy as we are, I know you're busy, I'm busy. It's almost like a break in the day, even if it's just for a minute, even if it's just for a few minutes. It's stopping all the craziness and giving yourself that break. It's almost like forcing you. Oh, there's that oil. I know how good it smells. Oh, I need to use it. Okay. Oh my gosh. Right.
Yeah.
That's the way I use it the most. Yeah.
Yeah. And it gets really fun too to get a diffuser. Like this is the one I keep right here by my desk. And play
That's
with
by my bed.
Just being like, okay, I want it to smell kind of like fall today. So you get out some oils and start playing with the blends, and there's nothing that you can't put together, so you don't have to be worried about it. You just have fun with it.
Yeah.
So every day I'm like, okay, what am I going to smell like today? And it can be really fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about getting healthier, and sometimes it's just about having fun and having the house smell good and stuff like that.
Speaking of the house smelling good, I remember you asked me am I going to consider getting rid of my Yankee Candles? And I told you that my son buys my candles, and it's something that I'm never going to get rid of them if that's what he wants to give me,
Yeah.
But I would love for doTerra to be making candles.
We'll see.
That's on my wish list for them. The little melters and the candles and in the breathe, and the balance and those mixes, the peace, the forget. I'd have every candle known to man.
Yeah.
I seriously would. I would love to see that happen. So they put candles on. I am done with the other ones. I'll just give Braden the sheet and I can say, if you want to buy me something, pick from one of these and,
Yeah.
I'll get rid of my Yankee Candles.
Yeah. Well, until then, if I find someone who's using the oils, and because there's so many people who do DIY, the doTerra people who then make them into like lotions and so if I find that, I'll send it to you.
Put it out there. If someone wants to make some candles, I want them high fragrance. I want soy is fine. I don't care about that, but the wood wicks would be nice. No lead. Yeah, tell me, I'm buying.
Okay, good. I'll let you know.
No problem. Yep.
Cool. So if people are interested, we're going to send them to your website, and then you guys can all connect with me if you want some coaching about how do I get started or how do you teach other people. Like I'm going to provide all of that for Carmen's people. And so your website is mydoterra.com/functional health coaching, right?
You got it. Yep. And for anyone who wonders why I'm not doing it myself, because I'm a believer in outsourcing. I'm a believer in using experts. I'm not an oil expert. Just because I've used them all my life doesn't mean I understand them the way that Trisha does. And so I like to be able to depend on people that know the product and know what they're doing. I don't ever want to advise someone in the wrong direction. And it just feels good to me to know that I can say, can you get with Trisha? She'll help you out. That just relieves my pressure, my stress, but it also relieves it for me not giving wrong information too. And that's important to me as well. I never want to deliver information and pretend I know something I don't know. So if someone said to me, what do you use for this? I'd be like, I don't know. Hey, Trisha.
So I did get, I'm a certified essential oil coach. I know you know that, Carmen, but just so everyone knows, I got certified through Dr. Axe's Essential Oil Institute. So I have been studying them in depth and, not non-brand specific education. Spending many, many hours, in his institute, outside of his institute, literally every day I'm looking at Tisserand's book, The Modern Essentials, The Essential Life. I follow a lot of aromatherapists to understand, the places in the essential oil world where people don't agree, to really understand what's what.
Yeah.
Go into PubMed and look things up. So this is my passion. I've studied it quite a bit. I'm very happy to help. And a lot of times, like what you mentioned earlier about internal use of oils, what I typically do is I educate people about both sides, the benefits of internal use, why some people don't believe in internal use, my recommendations, and people can decide for themselves what they'd like to do with it. But whatever education you need around using them safely and responsibly is all provided. So that's the big benefit of being on our team, is lots of education and community. It's not like buy this. It's all focused on learning.
Yeah. And let me throw one more thing too, is the transparency is an issue for me too. Like I need things to be transparent. Don't go hiding a label from me. Don't say, well, you can contact us for more information. I want to know that if I pull something up, I'm going to find out about it online. If I want to read about, where something is coming from, I want to read about it online. It's same thing with like the CBD oil that I really trust and use. I contacted her and she was like, here's this, I'm that way with everything. And so I think there are some things going on out in the oil world right now where transparency should be making its way to the forefront a little bit more from other companies, because there's some things happening they're getting caught doing, and DoTerra is not one of them, which I'm super happy about. It's another reason why I signed up, because I'm like, haven't found anything out there that says that they are not completely transparent. So,
right. And there is the Source to You app where you take literally your bottle of oil and you put in the numbers from this, and you get the testing data from this batch. Like, not in general, some oil at some point, like literally your batch, you can look it up.
That's awesome.
It's
where do you do that? On the website?
It's an app called Source to You.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to write that down.
It's really cool.
Okay.
So DoTerra's the only one doing that. And they're like, look, we got nothing to hide, because this is like the supplement industry. There's nobody looking out. And some people say, oh, therapeutic grade, DoTerra made that up. Yeah, they did, because there's no standards at all.
Yeah.
And they felt that they need to be held to higher standards than nothing. So like, okay, here's the standards we believe in. We're going to define them. We're going to get third parties to test it. So when people say, oh, it's a made up marketing thing, it's not a marketing thing. It's a transparency thing.
Totally. And that's the same thing with coaching. Like, everyone's like, well, where do you get a certification? I'm like, you ain't got to have one to do this. Like, you're being told that you're supposed to have one, but we are not regulated at this time. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing right now. I think eventually we will be. But it's like that. It's like there are no standards for health coaches. There's no scope of profession. So I wrote one. Like, I made one up. I'm like, here's what I think we should be doing to stay in our lane and be safe and help people in a way that makes sense to them and doesn't stress them out. So
yeah, and that's not a marketing thing. That's a responsibility thing and a smart thing.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So cool. So I'm happy to be with you. Really am.
Cool. We're thrilled to have you. And if anybody wants to contact me, if they have questions or whatever, or if they're on your site, not sure, my email is triciahealthcoach@gmail.com. So that's TRICIA healthcoach@gmail.com. Reach out anytime. Happy to help you get hooked up with your own oils through Carmen and whatever coaching you guys need.
Awesome. And then, of course, they can send something to support@carmenhunterhealth.com. I will put them in touch with my support team, and they will get in touch with you. So
perfect.
Either avenue works.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.